Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. Well, good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, the 4th. We got an interesting market setup today. First, I wanted to go into something. I mean, it's all over. Regular people are talking about this Tesla run yesterday. So I figure we might as well talk about this first because people were bringing it up in our Discord and stuff. Tesla is a short run. Look at this action here. I got a chart. Let's just make it big here for you guys. This is Tesla. Now just look at the way that it has moved in February. Earnings, big up on their earnings day, and then they continue to run up. And yeah, this is a short covering rally, and a lot of people out there are saying, well, there is no way. Hold on here. There is no way that Tesla is worth that much, and the market cap and everything else just does not fit. Well, that may be true. I do not know. I do not run numbers on Tesla. I do not know what Tesla is actually worth or what it could be worth. But I do know that kind of behavior, that kind of a pattern in price action is a short run, 100%. But I would be very, very careful about stepping in there on that thing. Okay. There's the reason that a stock moves like this is because everybody comes in and says, oh, it's overvalued and I want to short it. And the momentum is against you. And so the bulls who have plenty of money available because they've already made so much can just go and buy more shares. And then you got these idiots out there that are like, oh, hey, let's sell calls. So now they're short stock that they don't have. And when it goes up against them, they have to buy the stock. And that's why this thing continues to move up and up and up and up and up. Now, I am not a financial advisor. I'm not dispensing financial advice. But if it was me and I was long Tesla and I had made money, I would be taking it off here. Probably would have taken it off, on this big run up here. But if I did not have a position in Tesla and I liked to trade stocks and not futures, would I maybe try and short it? Yes. But if I was going to short it, I would not be doing it on the crazy. Okay. So you get this sort of a thing where like, hey, you'll see the crazy and then you can fade it. Well, that kind of works, but not in this kind of a situation. In this situation, there is so much interest in this stock that the momentum will it has a way of just continuing. And so what you want to see in a stock like this is for it to get boring. It'll go up and you'll have a day where it just kind of sits there, doesn't really do anything. Then you can short it because now all of the shorts have been squeezed out. There's nobody else left to buy and the buyers will have to take profits. And then you can get a swing in momentum. So, if you're new to the channel, I hope that was helpful to you. Let's look at the rest of the markets here. Harlequin, holy shit, that overnight reversal rip yesterday short. Some big guy, wonder who, just killed all the shorts and made more than 50 points from the bottom. Volkswagen squeeze. Yeah, I don't know about that one, but I'm thinking about like, the big move that I played that kind of reminds me of this was when gold and silver was moving up, and silver was up to $50. And yeah, it was that same sort of thing. Like I remember people shorting it and saying, there's no way that silver is worth this much. And I went long and I made a ton. There was a day where it was like $5,000 on one contract you make money on. And then it was like the next day it was like the exact opposite. But then, after that day when the momentum reversed, if you had gone short after that, you still would have made a ton of money. So you don't have to pick tops. You don't have to pick tops, guys. Don't be doing that. All right. In this market, I would not be picking tops. I would be, getting my money and then running. volume profile. Look at the E-mini. Yesterday, we started the week out on the lower end of this value area. We had some good news that pushed us up, but then there was some bad news, and they kind of weren't sure what's going on. Overnight, look at that. They're just pumping higher. Quite interesting. I don't know here in this area, like, what is value? I don't know. I'd say that we're definitely in an area between here and here. We have to battle it out. We have to battle it out. It certainly could be a setup though for them to go short. But the thing that it's kind of a caveat, kind of concerns me, is I really feel that the treasuries are high. I really do feel that the treasuries are high. I mean, when we come back here and we look at a daily ZN chart, okay, we're almost as high as we were when we were concerned about continuing trade war tensions, and that we were never going to get a trade war deal, and that there was going to be more tariffs. And are things as bad as they were back in August when there was going to be new tariffs? I don't think so. Some people seem to be pricing in the end of the world. I don't think it's the end of the world. So, I don't know. Treasuries seem a little bit high to me. Equities, maybe they're okay. But we got data. We got data coming out this week, and that's going to be very useful to us for pricing things out. So, let's see. What do we have on the news docket today? Oh, hold on. Let me turn on the text to speech so that start reading out your guys' comments now. And good morning, Uzi. Harlequin was talking about the E-mini. Yeah, it was kind of interesting. Now, I'm wondering, was there like any news or anything that pushed equities up that strongly? Because I mean, they had a hard time making it up there yesterday. Like, it was kind of volatile when it was moving up anyways, and then you had coronavirus headlines come out and everybody panics and sells. I tell you what, this coronavirus thing. Let me turn on the auto read.
Harlequin says, I always find it fascinating how it moves 50 fucking points, more than the regular session, with no real news. I found none really.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like the Europeans all of a sudden decided that they want to buy equities, and there's like nothing you can do to stop. Let me fix my camera there. Is that better? That's a little better. I don't know. It always makes me. I always feel left out when they push the equities overnight. When they push any of the assets overnight, and I miss out on it. It's like, oh no, I wanted to get that move. Well, we are net short here. Okay, so we got like 15 seconds here. What do we got? What do we got? Do we have 6:30 news? No, we don't. February 4th, no news Tuesday. Okay, so if the context is a no news Tuesday, that kind of...
Harlequin says, let's say you shorted yesterday's high and wanted to hold it overnight. You wake up and are stopped out. Just lol.
Right. It would be frustrating. Well, that's why I don't hold overnight. 5K at 0.5 in the 10-year. Interesting. Very interesting. They did take a big short here just before the... Yeah, while we were talking. Badoom. Somebody might have been buying here and got stopped out. This might be what caused that. Well, so no news Tuesday can be difficult trading. There could be like a reversal. I definitely see here with the way the volume profile is and everything that the E-mini might open and the shorts might try and stack on it again. and we still have headline volatility. But there's probably going to be less people. I'm not hearing any clicks. Overall, not a whole lot of clicks. Since the open, it's been very quiet. Nacho Vitale. Yes, losing previous week's value area. Oh, it has such a beautiful chart. Oh my gosh, look at this chart, guys. Posting this in Discord. Let me open it up. So he's got it like a time-based series sort of a thing. Time profile chart. Probably has it split up between like, I don't know, to make that many squares it must be like 5 minutes, but oh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty, guys. I really like that look. Okay, so another thing we got to talk about: Iowa caucuses. There's nothing that we still don't have. We still don't have the results from the Iowa caucuses. Can you believe this? What Donald Trump tweeted 5 minutes ago. It's not the fault of Iowa. It's the do-nothing Democrats' fault. As long as I am president, Iowa will stay where it is. Important tradition. This in response to Steve Kornacki saying Iowa's outsized role has faced attacks for decades, along with periodic failed attempts by other states to take the first in the nation slot. But criticism has been louder than ever this past year, and now those critics may have the ammunition they need to kill it. I don't know. You know what? I actually I'm actually a huge fan of the Iowa caucuses. Well, and in caucuses in general, because the thing is that most voters around the country just aren't engaged, and Iowa has the tradition of being the first, and so the voters out there they are used to meeting the candidates and shaking their hands and asking them questions and figuring out what's going on. And I don't think that if we switched it to a different state, like let's say that we made California the first in the nation, that would be a disaster. They would do a terrible job. They would do a terrible job, and they wouldn't be representative of the rest of the country. Whereas in Iowa, it's a pretty good bellwether. It's a battleground state and Midwest. They do a good job. But now the thing is that caucuses are just not very organized. Like when you think about what they're doing, it's like everybody has to go in there into a gymnasium and then they vote like multiple rounds and stuff like that. Is that really the best system for when you're trying to pick? Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Live Action says last night I rolled back my charts and in preempt buy sell stops the open on naked versus indicator charts, i.e. profiles VWAP, and found negligible difference. Live Action says additionally T-notes 6E S all had almost same number of trades and seemed redundant except each day one of the three would have better structure than the others. Wait, you rolled back your charts. Does that mean you went back to the... not sure I understand what you mean by when you rolled back your charts. White House economic advisor Kudlow expects coronavirus to have minimal impact on supply chains, not a catastrophe. Fox Business News. Oh, good. Thanks, Larry. You jinxed it for everybody. Now it has to be a catastrophe.
Just couldn't leave well alone. Yeah, just couldn't leave it alone, Larry. Could ya? Could ya? Wow. Anyways, caucuses. So yeah, this has been an issue. I remember when we did it in Utah and we had a caucus. It was like everybody in my caucus, they all voted for different people, but there was only two people, only two people that voted for Donald Trump in my caucuses, and it was kind of funny to watch. Like they and the one person that did it though, that was a Donald Trump supporter was a Latina, and she was late, but she was very much excited to vote for Donald Trump. It was the most interesting thing, and I saw that, and I was like, well, I don't think that what Utah thinks matters, because there's clearly something else going on here. But anyways, I had to like report my results, and it was like, you tally things up on a piece of paper, and then you have all these pieces of papers, and then you had to call in your number, and then you would give the envelope to the people that night at the area, so they could later come back and verify the results. And these are like names written on a piece of paper, right? And they were kind of a little bit disorganized, and the only reason that I got mine in
Live
as good a time as they
start
did.
30 days back and click chart up to just prior open of next day and place trades to see if they worked out. Easy to see which had a possible or no trade and which will work or be a fake out.
Okay. Preempt buy sell stops the open on naked versus indicator charts, i.e. profiles view up and found negative. Additionally, T-Note 6EL had almost the same number of trades and seemed redundant, except each day one of the three would have a better structure than the others. So you're saying that if you did something like, you're doing something like looking for them to take the open, that there wasn't really a strong edge in it, right? I think it's kind of what you're getting at. Boom, 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 boom. The way, this is one of the ways that I like to look at it, is like, I think that if you were to look at any individual time frame or any individual position, and you say, is that position going to get taken out today? Probably 50-50 chance. Like, the expectancy on that trade is not very high. But every once in a while, you will just see it, where like all of the time frames line up. Today, if it was not Tuesday and there was some news and we started going down, yeah, they could just take all of the numbers out and they could go to a new weekly low. Because you just have the great setup for a lot of people getting stopped out. But I don't know. It's so no news Tuesday. Wouldn't expect anything crazy to happen. Anyways, when I did the caucuses, I only got my information in because I knew a guy.
I was working on only open breakouts. Find usually the best R trade of the day due to covering and new volume.
Huh. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, I called in my results to this guy that I knew, and I got things done faster, and so I didn't have to wait around. Meanwhile, in Iowa, you have this situation where people are like trying to call in their results and are on hold and everything, and it sounds like that the volunteers that and the Democrats in headquarters are all like, just in complete disarray. This thing in Iowa, don't let them overhype it. It was inevitable that the caucuses was going to be like this. I mean, they had problems with the Iowa caucuses last time around. They should definitely change the way that they do things in Iowa. Maybe they should do ranked choice voting. Maybe they should
Vincenzo
not do it
C
as a
says thumbs up.
caucus. But still no results. Well, maybe the market is happy that Bernie Sanders isn't going to be president. They assume that Bernie Sanders isn't going to be president because of this. That must be what's going on. The treasuries are pushing down strong. Look at that move. I'm gonna fix this. Seems to me like this is like off. That probably sounds really weird, huh? And this right here. All right, that's a little bit better. Like they're gonna take that 131 even. Acme TPO plugin. Was that colorful chart earlier? But is our good old friend the 6E moving today? Where are you? Yes, 6J. Sorry, 6J. Oh, they are moving. Oh, they are moving. Yeah, so this whole area between 01 and 05 half, they've traded through significant icebergs. Now we have this big iceberg at 131, and you might think, well, that iceberg might hold it. And you might think, oh, a ton trades there, but then it just goes anyways. Boom. Okay, there you go. They traded through it. Trades back up. More stacks there. 131. That might be a sign that they want to reverse there. But I think that the setup here is that the 6J has got really strong correlations going. You could see this move on nothing. Like you could see this go, okay, 8,000 there traded at 131. A ton should trade at 31 half, 31, 38, 30, all through these next 4 ticks. And you might see it just completely tick through that on nothing. It's possible. I'm not saying that I think that's for sure what's going to happen, but it could. I am getting a potential short signal here, though.
Live Action says, did they announce caucus results yet?
As far as I know, they have not. When I woke up this morning, they had not. In fact, it wasn't just that they had not posted, like, they had not posted any results. Zero results at all. Lol. Can you believe that? Now, I don't know if this is the right spot, but if I did it, I would much rather have this than this. E-mini buying. E-mini buying helps. Okay, still volume trading at 31 half. Sure is a lot of volume short there.
Live Action says, guess Bernie won.
If they hold the results back, yeah. Well, there was definitely the conspiracy theory stuff going on yesterday. But
Gary Rich says, good morning, TikTards.
Look, the Iowa caucuses has always been disorganized, particularly on the Democrat side. And I'm not. This was inevitable. This was going to happen sooner or later, So I don't think it has anything to do with Bernie. In fact, I think that in the end it will still come out that Bernie wins. I would have my money on Bernie. I don't think that Pete's going to win, although it does sound like Pete outperformed. Tick up 131. Way too much volume trading through here, though. I kind of want to take it short, but I don't think that I...
Uzi Knesset says Bernie is the next president. We are fucked, lol.
Bernie is the next. I'm really starting
Gary Rich
to wonder.
Says, did you read China added to their repo markets to extend till February 10th? Here comes the stimulus.
You know what, Gary? I really don't think that the repos lead to stimulus in the markets. So I think that there's a big disconnect with people in the markets, because we think about QE, quantitative easing, and how that really frothed up the markets back in the day, right? But the thing you got to remember is that when they were getting quantitative easing, and that is like free money that they get for like 10 years or whatever. Well, not 10 years. It was
Gary Rich says, I beg to differ,
2 to 5, right? It was 2 to 5 years. And they were given that money specifically for the intention of putting it into the markets to work, specifically so that they could go and buy treasuries and buy stocks and things like that. And so when they were doing QE, it was leading to direct buying of assets. You could just go and find a future and see whichever one was trending and just take it every day in the QE era. And that was just your trade, was just like everybody would just flock to whatever market was moving that day. Okay. A repo is different. A repo is like an overnight borrowing thing. Okay. So all a repo does is allow the bank to continue their regular operations. So it's not going to lead to more buying or selling.
Repo is for liquidity and collateral.
It's so that they have the liquidity and collateral for them to carry out their regular business activities. But they're not going to go out and buy a stock and hold it for 3 months off of that. It's only there so that they can help their client do a buy that they were planning on doing anyways. So it doesn't lead to more buying or selling. It just keeps the money. It just prevents the banks from having to slim
Gary
down.
Rich says it's still stimulative. Burning Dawn says they are currently trying to control short-term rates. QE was buying on the long end.
Yeah. Exactly, Burning Dawn. I'm just saying it's the effect on markets is not the same as QE. So I think about it this way. When I worked for Goldman Sachs, I ran a system, and the purpose of this system was to cut off clients if like a robot was going crazy. And so there was a couple of ways that we did that. One of them was that if we detected a certain number of like duplicate orders that all had the same properties coming from the same place, and it was over certain thresholds, it would just cut them off, because that was indicative of a robot going awry. But another way that we do it is just that each client has a credit limit, right? So when you're a hedge fund, you don't have margin, you have credit, okay? And there's a credit limit, a limit on how much in assets they can buy, right? And that credit limit, for each client that we have credit limit, that adds to the overall, amount of money that the bank needs to have to be able to fund its operations. So if we, like the big one was when the Russell rebalances. When the Russell rebalances, all of these funds out there have to...
Live Action says, Seth, can you develop a trading DOM?
Oh, let me finish. I'll come back to that one. Anyways, on the day that the Russell rebalanced, everybody's going and making changes because they have to change their allocation to match what the Russell was. Okay. And so the bank had to have a certain amount of funds available to sustain those operations. And there was like a credit limit for the whole firm, right? And that credit limit was based on the amount of collateral that they had and the amount of collateral that they were willing to put at risk. And on the day for the Russell, they would have to increase that limit on the systems so that it would let them trade bigger positions to be able to handle the Russell. Okay, so when you have that credit limit, that has to be backed up by assets. And one of the ways that you do that is you do the repo. So you do the repo and you back it up with, based on stuff that you have, right? So you can borrow it, pay it back the next day. No big deal. That's a repo. So repo does not necessarily lead to more activity in the market. Repo just allows the activity that already exists and wants to be there to be able to transact. The repo market basically only exists to make sure that the banks can carry out their daily business. It doesn't allow the banks to carry out more business than there is normally demand for, as opposed to quantitative easing, which literally puts money into the market that's allowed to work in there for years and lets them just like straight up buy stocks with it. Read your books on repo. Well, I'm not saying that you don't understand what you're talking about. I'm just saying that um it doesn't have an aggregate effect on the amount of buyers or sellers out in the market. It prevents a bunch of sellers from coming into the market, I suppose. I wouldn't say that, oh, we can't go down because of that they're pumping money in with the repo market. I don't think that's the case. Don't think that's the case. If we're overvalued, they're going to sell it. Now the problem on that end is, who's to say what if we're overvalued or undervalued? That's too complicated for any one person to say. That's why we have to have a market and we have to battle it out. Yeah, I don't like what the ZB is doing there. It was giving me like a possible short signal, but I said no. And now it's giving me flat. So, bum, 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 bum.
Says hello Speculator the volume profile column indicator is not running on demo NT8. Not sure why.
So, one thing that you can try doing is just, clicking on the chart, and you can either reload NinjaScript or there's a key F5. Let me move this over here so you can see. You right click on it. You right click on the chart, reload NinjaScript, or press the F5 key, and it should reload the chart. Because sometimes that volume profile indicator column, it's kind of weird, and you have to reload it for it to be able to get the information that it wants. Another thing that you can try is this output right here. This output will print stuff out, and so you can see if there ends up being any errors written out to the NinjaScript output that would tell us maybe perhaps what's going on. But I have to warn you that column thing was kind of like, it's hyper experimental, which is to say it's doing stuff that NinjaTrader, like the whole point of making it was to make something that NinjaTrader would never expect to do, to possibly show them what's possible. Because to me, it bothers me that it's like you add an indicator on and that's just it. I think that it should be like that there should be vertical panels the same way that there are horizontal panels. And so that's the way that I wrote it. But for me to write it, the way that I had to do it was the indicator had to be aware of what other indicators are on the chart. And that's where the issue can come in, is like there are situations where when you restart or whatever, the other indicators might not have been loaded yet. And that's why you might have to refresh the chart. That was probably like way too much detail, but that's where it is. Okay, this is a good point right here.
Burning Dawn says you can argue the mechanics are not stimulative. You could also argue if everyone sees it that way and buys it doesn't really matter.
Well, that's true. But since this whole repo market, this thing, I haven't really seen anything in the market that tells me that the market participants are behaving any differently because of it. So could be wrong, but they really came back there. I was thinking like, okay, hold, maybe we get a bit of a pullback and we can short it. It came back so quickly. And I didn't really take, a whole lot of note. It was just like 2 ticks down, and all of a sudden we're pushing 6,000 contracts into the low of the day. Good morning, Ace.
Ace Trades says morning.
Okay, so the question was, can you write a DOM? I mean, that would be a huge project. That would be probably way more time than I have time for. And I guarantee you that even if I went to put in a bunch of time and made a great DOM, it probably would not be as good as the Jigsaw DOM, because they have years of experience in making it and tons of time put into it, and a really solid community built up behind it. So it wouldn't really be useful for me
Air
to make my
Cages
own
says
DOM.
just woke up and doubled my money with an altcoin overnight. I love this crypto bear market.
That's interesting. So yeah, crypto's down a little bit overnight. Okay, so they clear 31. Good stack. 8K.
Ace Trades says at Air Cages great job. Got to love altcoin. Lol.
I feel bad because I guess we kind of missed a spot, but I could take it here. Actually, could have taken it 12. Could have taken it at 12. Interesting that the way that the bid is stacking and pulling, though. The bids are definitely been pulling. Very much so right here.
Air Cages says Icon up 48% today. Up 500% in the past few weeks.
That's the altcoin that you've been taking? We should pull up we should pull up CoinMarketCap later and see what's moving. So I have a hard time deciphering at the moment which coins would be more likely to move, you know? Let's move this 6-day. Let's just put it up here. Because it's been pushing us lower.
Vincenzo C says I may just quit trading and join Trump's Space Force.
There you go. I'm going to guess, though, that it's really hard to get into the Space Force. Okay, uptick. Ooh, some decent stacking on that uptick as well.
Algo Lover says thinking face with tears of joy. Air Cages says a lot of them are showing serious signs of life. Feels a little bit like 2017 again. Gary Rich says at Ace good morning, when are you going to sell me your signal system? Uzi Knesset says the Space Force has just reallocated Air Force assets and personnel.
I think that we should at least backtest Ace's system so that we can get more, because Ace doesn't exactly have like stats. Or I tell you what, Ace, go. You should absolutely go and get Jigsaw's Journalytics. It's like, I think it's like $40 a month or something, and you can get. I think that there's a way to get it so that Sierra Charts will send it, and then you could show people like the win rate and all of the fun statistics and stuff. That would be, because if you're somebody just out there trading and you want to say, oh, I want to follow this Ace guy, it's kind of hard to do that if you don't know what the like was a drawdown and all this other stuff. Not that I'm saying, of course, I think that if we went through and did the stats, I think you'd find that most people can. Most people can, but
Algo Lover says reminder, Wednesday 9:25 a.m. Algo Lover note, S3298.50 is the line in sand for sellers to attempt to halt this squeeze if tested nerd face still valid now face with rolling eyes.
Okay. I'm surprised the overnight move in equities. It's like all the Europeans getting squeezed out. It's kind of weird. Okay. Uptick. I don't. I as much as I
Air
want to
Cages
be
says to be
short.
fair, altcoins need to go up like 10,000% more to get back to previous bull market value.
Oh yeah, totally. Well, and there's got to be some question here that like, are they just making the exit? When you see the altcoins pump, that's often an exit, but it's also a setup for another run. They buy the Bitcoin, they sell their coins and go into altcoins, and they make money on the altcoin rush. And then as everybody else is coming in late to the altcoins, they sell the altcoins and they go back into Bitcoin, and they just cause you to chase back and forth until they can't move the Bitcoin any higher, and then they cash out. Hmm. I mean, they kind of making it look like they want to trade into back into 31 even, but not doing it. Look at that. Okay. He's fighting it. He's fighting it. I also say that the 2 ticks back
Air
up were
Cages
way
says
too
don't
easy,
sell your
huh?
Garlic coins just yet, Seth.
Don't sell your garlic coins. I couldn't. Again, it's in a cold wallet. It's in a cold wallet. I'm concerned that the pump is going to come and I'm going to get my 100, when garlic coins get to $100 a coin or whatever, and then I won't be able to get the stuff, the cash into the market quickly enough because it's in a cold wallet. But it's in a cold wallet. The numbers are written down on a piece of paper and stored safely away. Oh, and that's another thing is like, oh, okay, so I have to re-download the wallet and figure out how to input those keys to gain access to the old wallet. And I haven't done that. I know it's possible and everything, but it's just kind of like, it makes me a little bit nervous, the uncertainty. But I'm pretty confident that we can figure it out when it happens. I'll tell you what, though, garlic coin sure looks undervalued to me. What are they at? Let's go look. Now we're in a place where I think we can come and look at the cryptocurrency market, shall we? Change, 24-hour change. Icon, ooh, you got it. You got it. Good in Icon.
Air Cages says 50%. That's a serious problem. These pumps happen fast.
Mm-hmm.
Algo Lover says 8:14 a.m. Algo Lover S. If buyers maintain bid above 3,275, then 3,293.50 target. If 75 breaks before trading up, then anticipate a deeper pullback. Nerd face.
93 and 75, I think, are good numbers, dude. For sure.
Okay, Algo Lover says 8:15 a.m. Algo Lover CL. If sellers hold this bounce below 52, then 48.75 target. If 52 goes bid before trading lower, then anticipate squeeze higher. Nerd face. Algo Lover says HAGD. Thumbs up.
Thank you for stopping by, Algo Lover. I definitely watch those numbers. See how you're keeping getting these little pumps, but like these pumps might even be like $20 worth of money coming into the market, Like if $1 million came in, like whoosh, and it doesn't take very much, like, because I have like 20,000 now. I haven't been mining though. Maybe I should switch mining. I haven't found another pool. They closed down the pool, and I haven't bothered to go and find another one. Equities kind of turning there. Let's see what they do at 87 and a quarter. Have you gotten a trade yet, Ace? It's probably not a clear area right here. 30.5 now stacking like they're gonna hold that. Yeah, my back is just popping all over the place. I don't know if you can hear that. Whoa, what? No. What?
Air Cages says maybe you could mine something else? If altcoins really do pop off, you'll be sitting pretty with a nice stack of mined coins before everyone jumps aboard and destroys the difficulty.
That was... Oh. Man, I want to be short 31. Okay. Well, that's the sort of thing that makes you want to FOMO. I better sit on my hands. I can't believe they just moved like that. That was super... Ugh. What causes that, you know? Cray. Donald Trump, as long as I am president, Iowa will stay where it is. Important tradition. Does he really have the power to do that, though?
Air Cages says seems like Ethereum Classic is the most profitable coin on Whatamine.
Ethereum Classic? Really? Well, before I was mining Verge. But I was mining it because I had found an optimization that allowed me to mine it faster than I should. So I was making more money at mining it that way. I don't know if that's still the case. And I don't know if Verge is in the spot to be excited about it or not. It used to give me really good valuation signals, like in terms of like what it was worth compared to how much money was transacting on the network, was like really impressive. Alert, dangerously cold outside, roads are icy, leave early. Okay, we will leave early today. I don't know if I'm going to take a trade today. I just feel like I just missed it all. Unclear what the E-mini is going to do too.
Air Cages says you could mine Ion, but it's already pumping.
I'm not too concerned about it. Because in my mind, it's still just like, you know what, until Bitcoin bottoms, I'm not... The risk reward for me in the market is not all that great. I guess if I'm mining it, it doesn't really matter, huh? But I would just really, really want to see Bitcoin, go down to my bottom line and buy that one. I want to see it give a buy signal. So badly. Because I feel like it pumping before you get the buy signal makes the indicator itself less interesting to people. If it had gone down at this last run, if it had gone down all the way to the bottom...
Who was it that started the saying, "Yes, I can"? Would be fun if Trump includes it in his speech tonight.
If they had gone all the way down to the bottom and it had given a buy and then we were moving up, then everybody would be like, oh wow, this thing is genius. But it didn't do it. Maybe Iowans are fed up with the whole
Air Cages says
process.
I was thinking you wanted to accumulate by mining before the pump.
Compounded by having 24 candidates from the party out of power. Nate Silver says, certainly possible. Also, Iowa has become quite a bit less democratic on the whole, but if anything this year, it seems plausible that the comparative lack of coverage of the caucuses because of impeachment contributed to the lower turnout. Oh, so the turnout was lower. Okay. So this is an important note about the Iowa caucuses.
Ace Trade says, Gary, whenever you can scrape up a couple grand.
If the Iowa caucuses turnout was lower, then it doesn't matter if Bernie won the caucuses, because what it essentially says is that the majority of the Democrat base is tuning out because they don't like the
Gary
socialists.
Rich says, Seth, remember when you laughed at me for buying Dash, almost a double.
Yeah, when was that? I don't know. I don't remember saying that Dash was a bad investment or anything. Just Just that I was laughing at the crypto market in general because it just doesn't interest me, I guess. It's like yeah, it can go up and you can like double your money in it, but from my perspective, do I have like the optimal risk reward to be worth like swinging in
Gary
there?
Rich says at Ace I have 21.4 mil. Live Action says turnout was ridiculous low. It was very embarrassing for them.
Yeah, the turnout in the Iowa caucuses, and I was seeing predictions that it was going to be that way, but I was looking at it last night or actually 2 days ago, because I was going to talk about it here about it being low. But then I saw all of these Bernie Sanders guys talking about how we're going to have historic turnout
Eric
and it's
Cages
going to be
says
so
dude
great.
icon just sixtupled. Forget dash. Get on my level.
It is sixtupled? What? I don't know. I look, so this is like Tesla. Okay? Yeah, you could have made a ton of money in Tesla. Do you really want to be in Tesla right now though? I mean, look, some of you guys can do it, but that's not a move that I can predict, and so it can go up all you want. I'm not going to take advantage of that one. Bitcoin goes down to my lower bar, I'll get in.
Jay Constant says hello. Why are the alts keep on pumping while BTC going down?
Yeah, well, because they're rotating, right? So we are entering into.
Eric Cages says I actually hold Tesla. Stop talk shit.
You hold it right now? Well, we started out at the beginning of this. Like I said at the beginning, I'm not a financial advisor, but if I was long Tesla, I'd be taking profits. Because this is a short squeeze. This is not sustainable in my opinion. I wouldn't short it. Because you shorting it, you're just putting fuel on the fire. But I do not think that Tesla, who has never made money, is worth more than Ford. I just don't.
Eric Cages says I'm holding it long term, no biggie.
See, even if you hold that long term, this is a place where you could take profits, and then it's almost surely going to come back down, and then you could buy more at a better price. Depends on how actively you want to manage it, I guess.
Live Action says this delay in caucus results reminds me of the delay on Broward County, Florida, where they found some games going on.
Yeah, well, I don't know. The way that they do the Iowa caucus results is there's always going to be a lot of weird, like this thing where they said that, Bernie got like 800 vote or 80 votes and the other guy got like 60 votes, but then they had to do a coin flip and Bernie ended up with more delegates or something. Like the way that it works in the Iowa caucuses is kind of weird. But that doesn't mean that it's not a useful system or exercise.
Eric Cages says I could, but I don't trade my long-term holds. I just leave it alone.
Maybe.
Gary Rich says TSLA on a run because a retard actually put a 15K price target by 2024. WTF.
Really? But maybe we gave it a little bit too much hype this time,
Jay Constance says anyone any advice which alt I get in? Live Action says though I heard Biden got only one vote early.
Well, do we really have any clue how many votes anybody got? It sounded like Biden really underperformed. That's probably true. But my guess is that all of the Biden supporters would have stayed home because it was clear that Bernie was going to win. So why bother? I don't understand. Sitting in the caucus, like you're sitting in this tiny room overpacked with people. And
Jay Constance says you said alts and BTC rotating? How long is this?
I have no clue. But I look at it as a sign that we are moving into the later stages of a move. And when I look at Bitcoin, it's showing me that 1100 or so would be like, okay, why are we getting a move here in the E-mini? I guess we might have to wait and do something after the E-mini opens, but it's selling into the open. Curious.
Air Cages says I'm an icon, but it's already blowing up, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, I mean, with the altcoin thing.
Gary Rich says no joking on TSLA Seawoods from ARK Funds 15K. What are her valuation models smoking of hopium?
I have no clue. I don't know where they get any of these numbers. Just all I know is that the dominant force in Tesla right now is short sellers covering. It's so clear from the chart. It's somebody is getting margin called over there. Like yesterday, somebody got their margin called.
Jay Constant says yes, I will not buy ICX at this price.
And the altcoins, the only thing that I would caution on the altcoins is don't chase. If it's already pumping, then it's gone. You want to find something that it has a lot of value to it, something that it aligns with your opinion of what gives an altcoin long-term value, and get into it. And then if they pump it, then you get out. You caught the run and you get out. But don't chase. Because the whole way that this works is they sell their Bitcoin, they go into the altcoins, and then everybody looks at it going up and they go, oh, I want to get 50% gains in one day. I should buy this coin. It can continue to go and go. And so you guys all buy it. And then that's just gives liquidity for the guy that originally pumped it to get out.
Don't chase unless it's Garlicoin. Then please chase, dear God, chase it.
Right. If it's garlic coin, just taste it all you want, man, because that thing is so ridiculously undervalued.
Jay Constant says none of the alts have any value. Maybe ADA if they release something.
Okay.
Gary Rich says the unwind came when short TSLA long value had to be taken off with hedge fund redemptions also.
Yeah, it's just the move in Tesla is really crazy, isn't it? Okay, so the E-mini hasn't beat out the open of the previous hour yet. That would be 32.84 even. Oh, actually it'd be 32.83.75. So right here, they're touching it. So that's going to be a place of defense. They're going to start there on the open and just go goodish down. Can we just sell this into the open? And Ace never gave us a trade, but I was kind of
Air Cages says everything has speculative value. That's what really counts in these markets.
That's true. Right, from that perspective, it doesn't matter what you buy. Just pick one. That's when you start getting all the ICOs. That's how the whole ICO thing happened, right? Was they just any coin that had any marketing behind it was like people wanted to get into. Anthony Crudelli says, good thing I have a strategy for my trading because almost everything I think is going to happen lately is wrong. Trading floor audio, retweeting stuff about Kudlow. It's not a catastrophe. It's not a disaster. We've been through this before, and I just think the impact is minimal. If they hadn't have shut down business for a week, probably would be the case.
Air Cages says yep. That's the reality. These things didn't go up 100 times due to real-life use cases or utility. Yeah. Gary Rich says all of these recent IPOs, SPAC funding, TSLA run looks just like 1999. But if these MKTs keep pumping, gotta keep participating until the Fed takes the sugar punch bowl away.
Well, and it's here's the bigger problem that I see with a lot of the stuff that people are saying is like Tesla is not indicative of the rest of the market. Tesla is absolutely overvalued short run, no question about it. But is that the rest of the market? I mean, the rest of the market, they're having earnings and they're readjusting based off of the earnings. And I would say that based on the information that we have right now, that the equity market is probably pretty fairly priced. And we're going to get a lot more data here in the next 2 weeks, and maybe that changes things. But I don't think that what's going on in Tesla is indicative of what's going on in the larger market at all. Tesla is just, there's way too much star power over there. That people are more interested in buying that stock just because they hear about Elon Musk all the time.
I bought my TSLA the day after Elon was smoking weed on Joe Rogan's podcast. Best decision ever.
It's all Elon, and because so many people buy it because of Elon, and then all of these people try and short sell it, and then their numbers will end up being good, and all the short sellers get stopped out. Wouldn't want to be touching it. That's just the stock that I think, like.
Harlequin says, I find it crazy that the Nasdaq was below 2,000 just like 10 years ago. Lol.
But no matter which way you take it, you're gonna lose money, you know. I kind of feel like that in treasuries too, the way that they've been trading today.
Gary Rich says at Air, that's awesome for you.
It's not giving me enough of anything here at 131 even to give me a short signal.
Air Cages says Bear love TSLA.
That must mean it's going to go higher, right?
Jay Constance says all the money that flows into alts need to flow into BTC.
Yeah.
Luis Alarid says heard he wants to create a car that does not need recharging runs forever.
What? Okay, how would that work? Okay. Maybe it's one that like charges off of the road or something. That'd be cool. You know, something that kind of gives me nightmares is that scene in Minority Report where he wants to go somewhere but he can't because he gets in the public transportation vehicles and they know that he's a fugitive and stuff. Oh man, like that was a prescient movie. The only thing is that we use drones and not little spider robots. But that's what it's going to be. It's these little drones following you around, helping the police chase you.
Air Cages says I've heard Elon is working on a car that will be powered by altcoins. Shish.
Elon coin is coming. Quick, bye. Oh man, if Elon Musk made a cryptocurrency, ugh.
Harlequin says spoiler, it is a car with pedals or with a horse in front.
Those require recharging though, dude. They require a special base station and special storage at your house. Well, we came back up here 131 and they're starting to trade big icebergs again. E-mini. They sold a little bit, but never completely blew up. We got 6 minutes to the open. You're shoving them up into 0.5. Although this move back up.
Air Cages says he should definitely make Tesla coin. It would literally flip Bitcoin.
The amount of buying to bring us back up here is not even like a quarter of what took us down. And the 6J is not come back as far as the treasury.
Luis Alarid says saw a video of Buzz Aldrin stating that they never went to the moon. Aha.
What? This is gonna be fake. This gotta be fake. Facebook or YouTube's gonna be cracking down on videos like that, guys. If it's like if it's a deep fake video or something, they're gonna get.
Ace Trade says we went to the goddamn moon.
We definitely went to the moon. I've seen so much stuff about that on the moon. I'm pretty confident that we went to the moon. I tell you what, one of the most interesting things that I've watched on YouTube is the story behind the failed Russian moon project and why that failed. Because their booster engines were better, and those are the engines that Elon Musk has been using in some of his rockets because the design was so good. And now that Russia's open, the rest of the world gets to see the designs, and so we're having this renaissance in rocket design because of them. But because it didn't work because they had to use
RJ Wheels says
bunch
Apollo
of
11
smaller
took off
ones.
from a flat Earth.
They had to take a bunch of smaller ones. RJ. Oh man. There was a guy on my Facebook.
Air Cages says I'm gonna make a deepfake video of Seth hyping up Top Step Trader.
What?
Boozy Knesset says Pluto is a planet.
I was thinking about it the other day because they gave us like an affiliate
Harlequin
thing
says want to short gold, but stupid Amini open in 4 minutes, too risky.
They gave it for us for One Up Trader. And I'm kind of the opinion that anybody reputable in the industry that's willing to give us something that's useful to the community, like a discount or whatever, like I'm not going to say no if there's even one person that would do it. But I don't think that anybody ever clicked that link. I don't think any of you guys went and started the One Up Trader Combine because of that link. It's kind of funny. Okay. So we're getting the kind of action that I would like to see at 01, but it's not staying offer for me. Unfortunately. The E-mini kind of come back down to the lower end of value. I don't know. I kind of saw the sort of stuff that I wanted to see, but the timing of it's not right. Harlequin wants to short gold. Well, there the E-mini goes back up. There's a good 8 ticks on that one. Clicky, clicky, clicky on the way down. Bids pulling. Offer pulled. Moved up. Shit. Okay. That one's a loser.
Kaka Silva says flat earther.
There was a guy on my Facebook in the rave community that was a flat earther, and oh my gosh, the drama and stuff, because it was literally like every day he would post stuff and everybody would argue with him. And it was kind of one of those things, how Facebook only shows your posts to like 10% of users.
Luis
or
Alarid
something?
says love Seth's video of his ex-girlfriend's analogy of markets.
You talking about? Oh, the ex-girlfriend's analogy. Yes, that's a great video. I thought you were talking about like my ex-girlfriend made a video. I'm like, what? Anyways, no. So what would happen is they would argue with this guy, and then they would unfriend him, and so then it would start showing it to a new component of his users, and it just went through a cycle like this. And I was just watching it because I never remove people ever, and unless they post like porn or something like that. Anyways, so I'm just watching it and I'm like, have you guys not been around like arguing? Like this guy has these arguments every day, and he truly honestly believed it. And it was just the most bizarre thing because he clearly knew nothing about science, and people would point out all of these scientific things, and he would come up with the most bizarre rationalizations for them. It was just weird stuff. Okay, so the E-mini is really battling it out there on the open. Buyer's winning, though. Darn.
IDK says ZN sucks today XD.
Yeah, well, I'm trading these sim, but it's a no news Tuesday. So this kind of stuff is a little bit expected. Wouldn't be surprised if the E-mini turns back down really hard and screws me over here. Watch. The seller's gonna win out on this?
Air Cages says according to flat earthers, Kobe Bryant faked his death.
Why would Kobe Bryant fake his death? What would that have anything to do with the flat earth? What? Wait, what? Listen, I find the theories that like the Illuminati have a moon colony, those are much more entertaining conspiracy theories. Kobe killed himself because the earth is flat. What? Too much trading at 0.5. What is this? I don't know. That was a big iceberg at 0.5. I don't understand that one. This is the kind of action where like no matter where I click, it's
IDK says, where do you see the news and what kind of news makes you think that a day will be nice on the interest rates?
Well, so the news is that there is no news. So there are no major economic releases today. At least not in the U.S. There is later in the week. For instance, we got ADP on Friday. It's a really big one.
Harlequin says we released the coronavirus because we found out the Earth is flat.
Coronavirus. Oh my gosh, dude. That was hilarious. Oh man, I don't know what this is going to do. No,
IDK says I don't follow news and I think I should start doing it.
So I follow the calendar that you can view from forexfactory.com, and they have the economic releases. And what I do is I kind of look through and I look at where we are in the month, where we are in the week, what economic news we're going on, and what are the larger kind of things that are going on. So when we come into today, we're at the beginning of the month. So beginning of the month tends to favor, end of the month tends to favor buying.
Air Cages says I actually have some Corona in the fridge. Be right back.
And their beginning of the month has more economic news. So you tend to see more activity in the treasuries at the beginning of the month, right? And then the split side is that there is no economic news today. Another thing is that there tends to be more activity Wednesday, Thursday than there are other days of the week. So if it's a Tuesday and there's no news, those can often be really difficult days. I could kind of show you stats about how I got that, but
Harlequin says, by the way, what is the best site for headlines now that Zero Hedge Twitter got banned? Looking for a fast, reliable one.
Well, so I have a list on Twitter of news squawks.
IDK says, but I mean, what are the economic events you like the most?
Well, ADP is the best. So for treasuries, it's going to be ADP and anything that is related to inflation. So like the consumer price index, the producer price index are really important numbers. Anything that has to do with hourly wages, trade, those ones tend to matter a little bit more to treasuries than other markets. I saw
Air Cages says I saw a new Zero Hedge account. Was that fake?
I haven't looked into that today yet. Because I've been waiting to see if they're gonna get unbanned. I would think that they would get unbanned, but maybe not, or that they would create that they would move everybody over to Gab or something like that. You know.
Live Action says saw last night on the news secret camera in hospital in China with coronavirus and a lot of people dying simultaneously. They were saying this virus is pretty serious.
Well, the equities be buying. They finally give me my short, huh? Look at that. This is not going to work either because the range is just too tight. But they are above the open in the E-mini. Ugh. Talk about a volatile equity open. Okay. Well, I'm going to get a favorable tick here. So there's that. No. Maybe not. Oh man. Yeah, I would, if I was not, I don't think that I would take anything on live. This kind of action. There could end up being like um a winner in all of this. But you can just see that if you're trying to hold a 2-tick stop, they're not. They're just taking them out. The overall volume is short, though. That's interesting. And the bid's pulling after that, too. Yeah. Not sure I can make much sense of what's going on in equities. They look like there may be.
Live
There's a lot
Action
of
says
shorts.
these algos at the O is something I miss. Fills on them all the time.
Yeah. There's always a lot of volume at the zeros in there. Zeros are that 16 in ZB. We're close to the 16 in ZB, and they're dinking around with that price a ton too, aren't they? I can see the cumulative delta in the equity indexes is mostly short, but buyers could still pull this through, and the tendency lately has been to screw over the cumulative delta in the equities. So I'll look at that. That was a pretty good run higher. And cumulative delta hasn't balanced in the E-mini, so they could totally go up and push a new high, and maybe that would freak out a few people. And Treasury not exactly holding it there with that one tick, but yeah, I don't know. So like when I watch this, I know in my mind that like it's a day that's likely to be difficult, but then I keep feeling like that something needs to happen, like one side needs to lose, and then it just does, like it never happens. You know what I mean? There's a good stack there at 31.5. Okay, so they made like a new low by like a tick, pulling back fairly decently. That's interesting. That they didn't run at all. The treasuries aren't necessarily up as high as they were, though. The 6J kind of pushed down there for a second. Oh, lots of people walking today. By the way, if take a moment and hit that like button. We should change the title to be something about Tesla, since we talked about that so much today. 3283. Oh, pretty good sweep buying there. I don't know. Them shorts shorten pretty hard.
Air Cages says they're here for me, Seth. Welcome, guys. Gary Rich says I did a asymmetric trade. But 48 centiliters puts in Jun and Deck, financed it with call spreads. China gonna lose 2% of GDPW virus, crude becomes deflationary.
How did you determine that China's going to lose 2%? Where did you get that number from? Is 2% GDP in China, is that like a big deal? it was 2% in the United States, that would be like a disaster. You see the algos stacking and pulling just based off of what the E-mini is doing. So it's not a. So it's very frustrating trading the treasuries. Interesting though that the ZB is building the volume at 13, so kind of suggesting that maybe we're going to turn down.
Harlequin says Tesla is clearly a short. Shorted it around $250 and not using any stop because it has to eventually come back to my entry, right?
Don't say things like that. No. Harlequin, you're making us look bad with comments like that. Oh man, it's clearly a short, but I just don't think that you're going to catch the top of it, man. I think that anybody that shorts it is just more fuel for them to go stop out higher.
Uzi Knesset says I'm over here grinding one tickers, can't find anything worth holding, confused
Yeah,
face.
and when you're grinding one tickers in ZB, it sure feels like it's going to do something though, doesn't it? Like here we're above the open again. And I'm like, yeah, let's buy that E-mini. Go take out those highs of the day. Go do it. Do it. If I get above 88, I might take it. Wait, I don't want to. Yeah, okay.
Uzi Knesset says I've got 6 in the bag and these commissions are starting to turn me off.
I guess not. I was saying
Harlequin
maybe it's
says
going to give me a signal.
Yeah, it is really hard to catch the top. That's why I decided to short the bottom. Me so smart. Gary Rich says I read a note. China GDP is 5.8 actual. The models claim virus will shave 2% off their GDP. This virus will continue for another 30 days plus before it burns out.
Okay. Cool. Well, that is kind of more what we want to hear, right? Like giving an actual valuation on it. And I like the trade on crude. Now that was a strong uptick.
RJ Wheel says I've got Dow going back to 425, but I'm not going to be the first one into short.
That uptick in the treasuries was a little nonsensical, I think. The equities are moving up, they decide to buy it. Okay.
IDK says look at the 6J.
Yeah, is this a 6J moving? It's pulling back a little bit, but the 6J is still awfully negative today. Okay. See if they do it. I don't know if my bought the best spot, but that was okay. Okay. Ooh. Look at the way that the ZN flipped there. Holy crap. Go for highs. Come on, do it. Tell you what, they sure are dinking around with the book in the 10-year today, aren't they?
Gary Rich says if crude can't hold at 50 OPEC, frackers will come out talking it up, but it has a lag time before all the additional pumping can proceed, plus we are awash in oil right now. Uzi Knesset says bias favors a short side in ZB, but we need a seller who wants
Booyah.
08 and 07 for anything meaningful to happen.
Booyah. Kill those shorts. Okay, so I'm seeing the cumulative delta. Equalizing? Hell yes. Okay. Unfortunately, that might be okay. Okay. There's probably more in it, but I wanted to see it equalize. It's okay. We're good. Good winner. That was a good. I continue to do really well in MES, don't I?
RJ Wheel says so much for shorting Dow.
So much for shorting Dow, yeah. You know, there was a real possibility of the shorts coming back in and trying to short it, but I think what's happening here is that the buyers have the momentum on their side, and this is just going to be range extension up. So if it's range extension up, then we've got like this previous high here at that we're almost all the way to the previous highs of the year. Oh no. This one, the top of this move from Friday, 32.97. 32.97. Now, Algo Lover said 32.95,
says
right?
LMAO.
He said 32.95, right? 88.90. That was 20, right? I got 20. Oh, and I got 16.25. I could have exited out of that a little more gracefully. In fact, maybe I should still be in it. Damn Treasury's about to get. They really pulled the rug out from underneath of them there, didn't they?
IDK says, what do you look to enter a trade?
Damn.
What markets do you actually trade?
Damn, look at that. IDK, so the only instruments that I've been taking trades in lately is the micro ES and the 10-year treasury, the ZN. The trades I've been taking in the ZN are
Uzi
Vincent trades.
Knesset says, oh, it's coming.
I'm still kind of testing a strategy out in the ZN. Okay. But it's based on 5-minute volume profile point of controls is the gist of it. But I'm still kind of back testing and testing it around. Now on that one, I took that trade at 131 even, because the book, when we came down, can you see right here? This is going to be like a really bizarre explanation. I don't know if this is going to make sense to you guys. But at the time, it made sense, right?
Harlequin says, yeah, now I want to hit myself for not shorting gold. Ouch.
Okay. Look at the book here. Here's our historical. Can you see this right here? See how jaggedy, ziggy, zaggy it is? This is moving up. Okay. It moves up, and then what happens? It sits there and it goes quiet. Came down. Okay, there's my short. That's about where I took it.
Uzi Knesset says, hey, what does a pulling, stacking column and jigsaw look like with a full book? Can you CE everything?
Sure. Hold on. Anyways, then we had this right here. This was sketchy. Look at how much that bid it up. They were trying to squeeze us out, and I held. And I sure am glad I held, because, man. So that's why I did it. And I kind of remember I was saying, like, it feels like something should have to happen, but it's not.
IDK says that histogram is the depth?
Yep, that histogram is the depth of the inside. Just only one. Now, Uzi is asking, can you change it to be everything? I think you can, but I don't think it's all that interesting. If we go to Auction Vista and we do the depth and balance and we increase the number of levels to like 100.
Gary Rich says if we can't take out 904 on YM watch for a bad reversal and grind down,
10,
just like
10
yesterday
is,
after 10:30 est.
10 is the most that you can do, but you can see that when you do it, it doesn't really, right? Like that's the thing that was so interesting to me.
Uzi Knesset says not in Vista but on the DOM.
Is that, wait, not in Vista but on the DOM. Oh, sure. Understand. E-mini's still going? I think I should hold this. Should hold this. Okay. Let's try it.
Uzi Knesset says the pull stack column on DOM, does it go beyond 10 for you?
Yeah. I think that's this one, right? Oh, what did I just do? Hold on. What? Bug.
IDK says I didn't understand your explanation about the entry. Could you explain it again?
Sure. You know what, Uzi? It's not working. Did you see that? I add... Okay, let's just add the bid column, and I try and move it. And it doesn't move. It just changes colors. That is weird. I tell you what, though, I have had it on before, and you'd see numbers change all over the place.
Uzi Knesset says ooh weird.
Yeah. Okay. So the again, when we were up here,
Uzi Knesset says don't mess anything up. I was just curious, lol.
The thing that keyed me onto that trade was that the inside book was really volatile right here, and it wasn't right here.
Gary Rich says looking to short YM at 704 or 904 long, just waiting for it to come to me.
I'm not saying that that's like a signal that you can base a strategy off of. That's just, I was already looking for a short. I was already thinking that they were going to push out all of the shorts in the ES and push for highs. And I could kind of see the imbalance. Like it seemed like there was a lot of people taking positions in there. And then all of a sudden, the number of, it just kind of, the activity just kind of became a lot more constant. So that said to me that that was a place that I could maybe take a
IDK says,
trade.
but isn't that the liquidity?
That's the liquidity. That's right. So, and this right here is literally just the inside price. That makes sense. So back there, it was really volatile because it's ticking up and down a lot, right? Here you can see it's ticking up and down a lot. So it kind of tells you something about the price, right? If it's ticking up and down a lot, that means that there's some sort of...
Uzi Knesset says here we go, 08 is done. Now 07.
There's some sort of...
RJ Wheel says I'm with you, Gary.
Both agreement and disagreement in price. Like that's a price that both buyers and sellers are willing to take trades at. And then all of a sudden, something changed, and they were no longer doing that anymore. And what was happening over here in the E-mini? Well, the E-mini was the short was kind of petering out. So I suspected that if there was a change, that the change was going to be that the treasuries would be reversed down, and they did. So, entonces.
RJ Wheel says Gary Barlow 740 for me.
740. Well, they're not to Algo Lovers 32.95 yet. He was saying they had to get above 95.
RJ Wheel says below.
For the stop run to change the whatever. Well, the treasuries are already kind of like taking profits on it too.
IDK says so. When the depth is messy, it means that there's poor conviction, right?
Yeah, sure. Well,
Bot says, dude, you up to date on your meds this morning? Lol.
I actually I am. I wasn't yesterday, but I am today. There's a lot going on. Hey, it's cool. We're okay. We got an okay trade. Um, I wouldn't say poor conviction because there might be somebody in there taking trades that they really believe what they're doing and there's iceberging. But I would say it's kind of more like there's agreement on price. Buyer is willing to buy there, seller's willing to sell there, and they're both willing to do it with market orders at that particular price. And then all of a sudden it ticks up and
Bot
that
says,
stops.
I'm well aware you weren't yesterday, grinning face with big eyes.
Yeah, I didn't have I hadn't taken my strategy yesterday.
Gary
so
Rich
I was
says
really
I thought
off.
about raising my target by 50 on each side for YM, but too much chop right now.
So what do you guys? I'm seeing something weird going on in the ES. So, John, what is it that I'm doing that makes you say that? Just going back and forth between too many.
I have a new bug for you to look at on the price pivots.
Oh, goody. Now, am I just going between different people's questions
RJ
too
Wheels
quickly?
says agree. I might be too early at 740.
I wouldn't. By the way, I wouldn't. John knows me, but don't be shy to say those sorts of things because I'm not very aware of it. That kind of makes me think. Okay, we have a good long. We should be really focused on trying to get a good exit.
3,297. 50 is last week's high in a mini. Got long 92 and trying to hold it for there.
Okay. So here, they are kind of pushing, but again, it's a little messy. And the E-mini is up on its highs.
Bot says you mean my meds comment? Yesterday you were really tightly wound when you were streaming.
Tightly wound when I was streaming. Well, did you see that trade that I took yesterday? Oh my gosh. That was ridiculous. I shouldn't have done that. Somebody was congratulating me in the Jigsaw room, and I was like, no, don't do that. That was bad. We were just thinking around with that trade.
Bot says you actually jumped up after a winning sim trade and went for a walk after you cursed like a trucker.
Yeah, it's funny. I just couldn't believe that it moved like that after that news. I really didn't think that it was going to do that. I thought maybe they would tick down or two and then the trend down would continue. That's why I held it. I didn't think that they were going to...
Seth took a trade and blasted off like a SpaceX rocket.
I didn't think that they were going to run 10 ticks down. Like, holy crap. That was crazy.
Uzi Knesset says got news in one.
Do we have news? What? I thought when I looked earlier that there was no news today. Oh no, you're right. Factory orders spot 7. Factory orders not typically a huge piece of news, and you notice that the book's not pulling for it, so I think we're okay. We will keep an eye on it here though. 10 seconds. They're eating into the 28.5 now. Okay. So an okay tick down. There's a decent amount stacked when they tick down. So
Bot says exactly at Gary Rich. Only difference was his booster recovery failed.
Well, I didn't really take any other trades after that, did I? Okay, one spot 8 versus spot 7, so good number. But the okay, so I'm taking 8 because I usually
Harlequin
have a
says outbreak
8.
even. Feels bad.
Equity indexes are acting a little weird here, though. Like the equity indexes are moving around a lot right here. And here was the news. And then down, and now lots of wiggle. Big icebergs, both sides too. What was that pull? It was a bid. It was a stack on the bid. So I'm a little bit suspicious about this.
Live action says 200 block sells S93.
Yeah, something's up. What the hell? If that price doesn't hold, then they could come back. They could sweep back down again. I don't know what's... That was unusual. That was extremely
Gary
unusual.
Rich says these crude traders are messing with me. Every time I want to enter they drop the price on me. Man, it's tight.
Freaking crude, man. Sounds like crude to me. Like trying to find an edge in crude is like, you know, never. It's always never stops where you think it's going to, unless you don't take it, and then it does. Okay, so something's definitely up here. Notice how they're fighting over 29.5. Okay, equities, maybe now they could push higher. They're kind of having a little battle
Harlequin
here.
says settlement is great TBH.
Is it close to settlement over there in crude? No, didn't that happen like the 4th week of the month? I'd have to go and look it up. I'm not familiar with the cycle in oil. What? Okay, so I wasn't able to get my 8, so I had to. That's okay. I have to do it the way that it was. I probably should have taken it off a little earlier, but something's up. Am I seeing... Let's look over here. No. Okay, I'm gonna push it like this. See if... What does it look like when they're doing that? Something's definitely up. I wonder if the treasuries seem to think that they have some sort of a piece of news ahead of them.
Harlequin says nah, I mean settlement hour each day. I'm bad with us time. So 1 hour and 25 minutes from now is the European one and 4.5 hours from now is the US one. Really nice for some small scalps.
There's something brewing here. I'm wondering if we're going to get a headline here. That definitely looks like front running of some sort. And the E-mini is turning down too. Fact. I could maybe... this one makes me a little nervous.
Uzi Knesset says is that when all the big ass orders show up ONT he book and there's a big flurry of activity for like 2 minutes?
Did you see, did you see that there was actually some big icebergs in fighting the buying in the treasury, and he just didn't stop. And he's pushed it all the way back up here now.
Live action says those 93s held.
Yeah, and not only that, but they came short of 32.95.
Uzi Knesset says happens every day at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
They came short of 32.95, and the buying coming into the treasuries
Harlequin
is quite
says
strong.
really thought they would go for last week's high after such a run today and only few points away. Well, at least break even and no real loss.
This does very much looks to me like front running. U.S.-Japan signed agreement to cooperate to strengthen investment in energy and infrastructure projects. U.S. and Japan to work to develop regional debt markets for energy infrastructure projects, remove barriers to private sector investment, says U.S. Treasury. Well, that's the only thing I see on Twitter right now. Might have been a better idea if I wanted to short to take like 93. I don't know.
Live action says retest.
No. Notice here again, it changed. There's a huge iceberg at 30 half.
Gary Rich says all the big three are not taking out the 4 hours highs. It's a trap, get ready to fade this.
So am I?
Live action says 370 block sell 93.
In 93? Okay. I don't know. I can take another one here. Well, they're creeping up on us. I don't know. There was a decent amount of selling there, though. I don't know. I think that we're taking a very high risk reward trade.
Says the chart looks predictable.
Like if this works out, it could be really, really great, but I don't know if the probability is necessarily on our side. Treasuries did fall back there a bit. So does that mean that we could have shorted at 31 again? Okay. That last run in the mini short didn't quite go as far as I'd hoped.
Harlequin says those motherfuckers, if they now are going for it. Man want my 92 entry back.
Are you saying you shorted it at 92 and got out? The 32.92, you mean? Okay, that's a little better. The buyers are still able to get too high. Yeah, that's not.
Harlequin says nah was long 92 and they got me break even after they couldn't hold above the high.
Well, the buyers are definitely having trouble here, but they seem to be more in control than the shorts.
Harlequin says my idea as to get the weekly high at 97.50.
Okay. Wow, that sell push was a lot better.
Uzi Knesset says, welp, I'm taking my 6 ticks and 6 sets of commissions for the day LMAO. It's my 16-year anniversary with the wife today, so I'ma go get some gift goodies. Grinning face with big eyes.
Good job, Uzi. You got 6 ticks out of that in the end, though. That's amazing. I want to, well, you're going to have to talk to us more about that tomorrow. Because I want to know, because you usually get more than that. And I'm interested to know what sort of things you see that make you go, okay, I should just take one. But anyways, have fun, man. Okay, so we got the 10. That's good. Where can this go to?
Uzi Knesset says, I'll guarantee you, if I kept going, I woulda got punched in the hole, lol.
Okay. So I'm seeing here this 86 area. Looks not too bad. If we could get that, that would be amazing. I don't know if that's kind of asking a lot.
Harlequin says at UZI Knesset well better than one trade with 0 ticks and only commissions, lol.
Or a bad trade. That came down too fast.
Uzi Knesset says at Harlequin this is true, lol. Good trading y'all, stay green.
Later, Uzi. It's intense. This feels intense to me. So the problem here is that at 32.87.50, there's this big old order. Oh, there was one at 32.90. So
Gary Rich says okay, raised my short entry to 995.
So yeah. Now, one spot I'm going to be looking at is 32.86.50.
Gary Rich says 795.
Okay, there's 16. Good deal.
RJ Wheel says I'm into shorting now, Gary.
Eh. Come on. No fill, huh?
Harlequin says time to move your stop to break even, Seth? Or are you still willing to lose money on this trade?
Oh, I already moved it. I moved it. It's actually a little bit plus. I don't know if they're gonna fill this. Oh, there they did it. Okay, cool. I can hold this maybe to 86, but I don't know. It was just like
Harlequin says okay, I am just blind, lol.
Yeah, it seemed like the liquidity was just a little bit too much there. It kind of made me nervous. I mean, maybe it goes down more and I'm going to regret that, but something seems off to me. It also seems off to me that the treasuries are holding here at 30.5, even though their book is moving around so much. Man, I'm still mad that I wasn't able to get +8 on that one. I really should have moved it up faster. Because, like, I put the order in there. As soon as I put the order in there was about when it started turning on the treasury trade. But it's also curious to me when they bought up in the treasuries.
IDK says the activity on the ZN DOM is interesting.
Yeah, it is. You know, it's so funny, IDK, because so many people will tell you that treasuries are so boring and this and that. But the problem is that they're just looking for the liquidity map. If all you're looking at is a chart and the only thing that changes is price, then yeah, ZN's going to be boring. But when you can see the DOM and that number on the inside is constantly changing, it's really interesting. They always surprise me. They always surprise me. Okay. So it does look like they push a little bit further. I'm trying to put a finger on what it was about that ES trade that made me nervous. I think that the main thing though was just that I had plus 16 because I like to get 8 ticks.
Gary Rich says those who use Bookmap. How long did it take to learn it?
I'm sure that it's pretty similar to just reading the DOM where it takes a long time. I would, maybe we one of these days. Now's not a very good time because the markets are pretty active, but one of these days I think we should pull out Bookmap.
Bot says interesting like a fireworks display or like fleas copulating? Live Action says good trading day Seth, you're rocking it on all today.
Thanks. You know what though, Live Action, I tried the E-mini with a way too tight of a stop in an area that I shouldn't have been taking it. So like it all came out evens. And those 2 trades in the E-mini were live. So I made my $10 and I'm happy about that. Well, I guess it's more like $7.50, but so all in all, not too bad. You know the mistake that I made on that first
says
E-mini,
no interest
though?
in 130.310 if sellers keep pushing below 130.300 short.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Sellers keep pushing below.
Bot
30.
says Nice going on the live trades.
Yeah.
IDK says and great absorption at a big selling trade area.
I've been doing pretty good with the live trades in the ES lately. Okay, so let me show you something though in the ES.
IDK says same on ZB.
So here is the 10-minute moving average, and here is the median of the previous bar. So can you see how first we tried taking it down here and it reversed on us, and then we took it at the median and it worked out. So I'm noticing that median, of course it can turn around, but if you catch the median of the previous bar, you're usually catching an okay price. So kind of interesting. It seems to me that there is some sort of statistical edge that Uzi gave us there that we can pull out, that we need to backtest a little bit more. Okay, so let me see here. I haven't looked at John's message yet. What did he do? What's wrong with the pivots? Does he have a drawing on it? I can't
Bot
really
says
see.
knees going says robo speech. I'm sure I typed nice.
Okay. Missed 2 pivot high confirmations in a row here. Oh, you are correct, sir. This bug doesn't seem to recognize close
Live
below
Action
prior
says Dalton
bars
discuss
low.
the median on the 30 meters bar.
Oh, I see. Well,
IDK says ZN selling through 300.
There's also some pivot lows in that screenshot that didn't trigger, did it? I think that the bug is actually there at 943. Here, I'll just show you guys so that you can see what I'm talking about. So here he's showing us these pivots. You notice right here, this, gotta make it a little bit bigger.
Gary Rich says Brooks talks about that on range trading books also.
Okay. So you see this area right here? Shouldn't there be this, there should be this right here. So it seems to me that, and actually there probably should be one right here too, right? So it seems to me that because of this area right here, it got all screwed up. And then because this pivot low didn't happen, it didn't do this one. So definitely a bug.
Bot says no, don't think so, not in there.
You don't think so? That shouldn't be a pivot right there. This would be a pivot candidate at the very least. I think that this would be a candidate that gets rejected. Yeah, that down because you never get a close below, so it ends up being here is where it's supposed to be, right? But I'm just saying, I think that what's happened is
Bot says no pivot high before that blue outside bar you're pointing at.
Yeah, pivot high right there. No, it wouldn't be a pivot high. No, you're right. This one right here, that would be a candidate, but it didn't.
Bot says right should be where you just underlined.
There was a candidate, but it didn't do it. But I think that what happened is that because of all of this nonsense right here, like here it touched it, and then you got the confirming bar. So I think that the bug is on that bar right there. I think that on that bar, it should have been marking this as a pivot low. And for some reason, it didn't. And then that causes the thing to be looking for a pivot low still. So it doesn't do this thing. Although, why wouldn't it do that one too? I don't know. It's definitely gotten screwed up there. But I'm guessing that it has something
Live
to do with that
action says
area.
it Gary Rich interesting. I hear trailing stop behind 30 meters good too. Haven't tested it yet. Bot says no, it can't mark a pivot low there.
Can't mark a pivot low there? Are you sure? Lows, that's a pivot low right there.
Bot says it can't mark a pivot low there because there hasn't been a pivot high yet.
Oh, but there should be a pivot high there, right? And this one is a candidate that never gets marked. But I'm just saying that if this one, we have to go to where the first error occurred, right?
Bot says yes, that is, but not the one you drew lower.
Oh, not this one right here.
IDK says shorted ZN with the stop at 310.
Hey, good job, IDK. It's 8:23, so I kind of tuned out, huh? I wonder, did we see? I think that a lot of what's happening here might be related to just the E-mini trading. This is kind of where I feel like that.
Live action says FYI large block sells earlier at 92. Watch this here.
Okay. Yeah. So they're going to test that high again. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, this is where I'm like, I don't see how you can't really trade the treasury.
Live action says seller went from 93 to 92.
Because when they're highly correlated, that's difficult action for me in the treasury. I think that if they're highly correlated, that you're better off taking the trade in the E-mini. Because that just means that the robots are just going to tick it up or down against order flow. And it's hard to hold a spot. Versus when the treasury is moving more independently, that it's because of something that directly moves treasuries, and so the order flow is more reliable. Okay, let's see if the E-mini gets the 95 this time. They sure could do it. And while we're waiting for that, we can do the chart, the Bitcoin charts. I don't know when I'm going to be able to look at that. Well, I might. Well, let's look at what my workout is today. Because I didn't go to the gym yesterday because snow was so bad. So bad. School started 2 hours late. It was a real mess yesterday. I'm going to call this video Tesla's the mother of all short covering rallies. We had a lot of people watching today, by the way, so thank you guys. I'm a little excited about it. I'm also a little nervous because I always
Rich
know.
says that live trailing stops are good, especially when riding a longer minor of a major trend, locks in profits. My trail had a sound which drove my border collie bananas.
When you get a lot of people and then you disappear for a week or whatever.
RJ Wheel says, where are you located?
I'm in Utah. I live in Salt Lake City, Utah. So yeah, it snowed pretty bad.
IDK says ZN stop in break even.
I don't know if I don't know if it's going to carry over to you guys in the east, but if it does, watch out because it was a monster storm. Yeah, I might have time tonight. I might have time tonight to look at it, John. We'll just see. Because my gym should be pretty short, and I'll be able to get there earlier and stuff. So we can take that and look at it and figure out why it's doing it. And of course, I would encourage you to try and debug it line by line as well. Or you know what? Another thing that you could do, John, if you're comfortable doing this, is paste it in the programming channel. Maybe somebody else will catch it before I do. Or at the very least, I could put there in the channel like how I did it and what was wrong, and that'd be useful to other people. So, so close to 95, they gonna do it?
Gary Rich says State of the Union tonight.
Oh yeah, that's true. I don't. You know what? I'm of the opinion that if the State of the Union address was gotten rid of, I wouldn't care. Or if the president just sent a letter, just send a letter. I feel like that the whole thing is just kind of silly. Oh, you know what else is interesting in the my E-mini trades is that I've been catching like 8 ticks, and many of those have been against the larger day trend. Like right now, it's definitely the trend is up, right? But I took a short and made money on the short. So, I don't know.
Harlequin says 97, 50 is the number emo. Let's see if they finally get it. Live Action says I want Trump to chant, yes I can, with Pelosi sitting behind him.
Why would he do that? Is Pelosi going to do her little... She's going to do that again.
Gary Rich says let's see if Ruth shows up. She has to be on life support.
I'm sure that the Democrats will have all sorts of drama.
IDK says how many years have you been trading treasuries?
So I've been trading the treasuries
Live Action says lol.
For about 3 years now, I would say. It's been about 3 years. It was like October of 2015. So almost 4. Am I getting that right? Yeah. It was October 2015, so I guess it's been 4 years. But
RJ Wheel says bet. Results before the speech or after?
Oh man, RJ, wow. That's such a great question. I think after. I think that we'll get partial results today, but I don't think that they are going to declare a winner in it until a few days.
Gary Rich says Pelosi is going to grind her teeth so bad while Trump gives his speech. I'm going to laugh hard watching her fume. Bot says I think we need to resolve the issues with the serialization and XML ignore before we post it in the channel.
Oh, is there some issues with the serialization still? So I thought I fixed that. Well, I'll try that too. Is it stuck? Because I fixed the little bug that you were having where when you tried to save the template, it would break. I thought I fixed that. And if I didn't, then I know what to fix. And I probably just missed one variable or something. Did Bitcoin make any moves while we were away? No.
IDK says still short in ZN from 300. Bot says yes, no still won't save changes when you decide to save different than the default settings.
Okay, I'll check. We might have like reintroduced the bug or something. So the whole thing is interesting. Didn't I take a... No, I didn't. No, I didn't. That's okay. So I took it short from 131 even, and I did not quite get the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So
Bot
I was
says
trying to get
color or
filled
line
there.
width or show, do not show broken lines, etc.
I was trying to get filled there. I let it come back on me 4, which is bad. I'd like to limit that to like 2 ticks. So what happened was I basically got out exactly the wrong spot, didn't I? But I think that I'm of the opinion right now that if I'm in a trade and it comes back 4 on me, that I should be puking. Okay, I'll have to take a look, John. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. All right, guys.
Bot says don't mean to add to your workload, just thought it would be better to get it working correctly before we share it with everyone on your Discord.
Oh yeah, no, well, I wouldn't put it in the don't put it in the downloads channel, but put it in the programming channel and just say these are the bugs with it. And then I don't think anybody else will take it up, but it's worth a try. that channel has been getting more active, and that's the sort of thing that we could do to kind of help, so we could get some more people in on it. But I really like it when you come to me with these things, John, because I feel like I am so disorganized sometimes that, you know, like we'll finish something and then it's not finished. And when you come to me, it's always like, okay, this is the thing that I know that I need to do right now that I can focus on. And so it's good. I have like I'll like make a list and then I won't like that list and I'll make another list. And I just got stuff to do all over the place. And it's kind of like what's important. And sometimes I'll have an idea and I'll just completely forget about it. And then later I'll be like, oh yeah, that wouldn't have been useful anyways. But I digress. It was it's good to I'm kind of more of the kind of guy that like can use a little bit of organization, you know. I do okay on my own, but I do a lot better if I have somebody behind, you know, saying, okay, here's the next thing that we're doing and here's the next thing that we're doing. You know, if it's like planning, if I'm the one that's planning, I can do that, and I'm actually quite good at that too. But like I have to focus on only that. I can't be the one doing any of the work. So yeah. That's your job, John. You find it's broken, you come to me and you say, this is the thing we need to work on right now. Because I'm willing to devote time to that every week. Even streaming sessions, if it's really,
Bot says
really
MQ hunting for a new all-time high, looking to test 9,287.25.
Well, now that we're above Algo Lovers 3295, you know, the momentum is up and they could just keep going. So previous high was 3297? Is that? Yes, it was. So they're taking out Fridays. That whole run on Friday has been taken out. Well, can't say I didn't see that coming. 52 handles long? Yeah, it
IDK
was.
says, could you comment your journalics? Live action says S plus 52 handles wow.
I should do that. You know what? One of the problems I gotta get going. Okay, so tomorrow, you guys, when it's like 8:25, remind me to do that.
About.
Yeah. Well, no, I get what you were saying in NQ, but I was just looking at on the ES side that they have momentum to keep going. Oh, by the way, guys, is the delay better today? Like, here, I'll do this. I'll say ping, and as soon as you hear me say ping, you say pong. All right, you ready? 1, 2, 3, ping. Yeah. You guys either didn't do it, or the delay isn't as good as I thought.
Bot says pong.
That's pong. Okay. So a few seconds. I changed my encoding. I went to doing it on the processor.
Live action says pong.
I changed. I decided to use
Gary
X264
Rich says I just
today.
don't care. Lol.
I did X264 today. It's okay. I bet it probably looks a little bit better, but I don't think that it really changed anything.
IDK says pong. Bot says about 4 seconds if your clock is accurate.
Probably some of the other guys that did it slower.
Burning Dawn
you
says
might
comparing
need to
my jigsaw to yours, it's 4 to 5 seconds.
Oh, okay. I think that
Live action says I was joking, I heard it faster.
When I look at my I think that I'm getting a CPU spike of something. I think I'm getting some sort of a I think I've been getting some sort of a CPU spike. I don't know what causes it. I might be my graphics card. I might need a new CPU. I don't know. Probably some upgrades in order. Can you can trade on this DOM? Yeah, you can. It's great. It's great. This is the Jigsaw DOM. I have a video on my channel that is what is the best futures trading software platform, where I talk about what I use and why. And there's an affiliate link in there. If you use the affiliate link, you know, I make a non.
IDK says 2 hours if your clock is accurate.
Gary
Rich says I was joking. I really don't care. Lol, but I heard it.
If you buy off of that link, I do get a commission that helps. So it's a non-inconsequential amount, but it's not like ridiculous. But it's cool. But I support the software that I like, and I really love Jigsaw. It is just I could not trade with just the Ninja Trader 8. I just couldn't do it. I love Jigsaw so much. Okay.
Burning Dawn says joking. I have Jigsaw. I just see the move on mine before yours on the video.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. There's definitely like a 5-second delay. I have it over here on YouTube. On YouTube, I have it set to ultra low latency.
Finale review Jigsaw versus X Trader.
You know what? The thing with X Trader, it seems to me that the data on is better, but the platform, and I don't think it was X Trader. I was just using Trading Technologies desktop app.
Harlequin says I like Sierra Chart, even if they stole the look out of a museum.
And it didn't have a lot of customization.
Jigsaw is so good, I use it too.
That was my problem with TT, is that there just wasn't a lot of customization on it, but the data was definitely better. And I kind of wonder how different my DOM would look if I was using TT. Because when that bid ask and the volume are more in sync, you will get slightly different.
I miss Market Delta.
Oh yeah, there's a couple of them. I heard that IQ feed is good, right? I don't know if Rhythmic is the best in terms of how they cache, or what is the word, filter their data for you, but it's nice because you get everything. So
IDK says X Trader is faster, very low latency.
Oh yeah, you know what? When we were looking at it, it was a little bit faster.
IDK says his focus on profirms.
I couldn't say if that was the data or the DOM itself. I would guess it's probably the data. Okay, I gotta go. I want to drive down.
Live action says what's the costs difference?
There's actually, I guess they're relatively similar. I think that TT is a little bit more expensive. But yeah, my main, we didn't dive too deep into TT because there just was not a lot of customization. So I don't know. And that's kind of my thing, is the thing that I like about Jigsaw is I like to be on the bleeding edge. I like to try the new things. I'm techie.
Gary Rich says
learn
drive
new
safe,
things
you have
quickly.
rabbits to take care of.
Yeah, I should drive in because I'm going to drive down to Sandy today, so I should leave now. And plus, apparently the roads are really bad. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully things continue to go well. And in the meantime, stay